Good evening, everyone. The time is 6:30 p.m. and the Louisville regular session of the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of February 18th is now called to order. We have a quorum present. A little loud, isn't it? Item number 2 is approval of the minutes of the January 21st, 2020 meeting. For no additions or corrections, may I have a motion to approve as presented?
Move to approve as presented.
Moved by Aaron,
Second.
seconded by Alvin. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 3 is consent agenda for plats. 3A, it's a plat of the Larry Ho Edition, Lot 1A, 1B, 2A, and 2B. Block A, this is 0.157 acres. It is out of the J.W. King Survey, abstract number 696. Zoned Old Town Mixed Use 2 District, OTMU2. It's located on the northeast corner of Milton Street and Samuel Street, being a replat of Larry Ho Edition, lots 1 and 2, Block A. Jonathan?
Good evening, Commission. Staff has reviewed this plat, and it has met all requirements found in Louisville's land development regulations. Staff recommends approval.
Commissioners, any questions? If not, may I have a motion on item 3A, final plat of Larry Ho Edition?
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Williams, seconded by Karen. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4 is regular hearing for plats. We'll address item 4A first. It's the final plat of First Park 121 Edition, Lot 6, Block A. It's 33.924 acres. It is out of the Samuel M. Hayden Survey, abstract number 537. Zone Light Industrial District, L1. It's located on the south side of Midway Road, approximately 209 feet east of Holford's Ferry Road, being a replat of the Coyote Theater Edition, Lot 1, Block A. Jonathan?
Commission, this plat was submitted on January 21st in compliance with House Bill 3167. And there are some discrepancies with Chapter 6 of Louisville's land development regulations. And these are regarding the labeling of street right-of-way and additional easements needed to be noted. Staff recommends disapproval for the listed discrepancies and recommends that staff be delegated the ability to accept and approve the plat once these are corrected.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, questions? If not, may I have a motion on item 4A?
Move to disapprove this final plat and delegate the staff the ability to accept and approve the plat once the deficiencies are corrected.
Motion by Karen,
Second.
seconded by Mary Ellen. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Okay, item 4B. Final plat of the Wendell Meadows Edition, it's Phase 1, lots 2R1 and 3, Block N, excuse me, on 3.056 acres out of the BBB and CRR survey, abstract number 180, Zone Commercial Business District, GB. It's located on the northwest corner of Windhaven Parkway and Parker Road, which is FM 544. Being a replat of Wendell Meadows Edition, Phase 1, lots 1R and 2R, Block N. Jonathan?
Commission, this plat was also submitted on January 21st in compliance with House Bill 3167. There are discrepancies with Chapter 6 of Louisville's land development regulations regarding labeling and an incorrect certificate of ownership. Staff recommends the disapproval of this plat for the listed discrepancies and recommends that staff be delegated the ability to accept and approve the plat once corrected.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, questions? If not, may I have a motion on item 4B, Windale Meadows Edition?
Make a motion to disapprove the plat pending the corrections for the deficiency.
Motion by John,
Second.
seconded by Aaron. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. All right. Item number 5, public hearing for zoning and special use permits. Consideration of a zone change request from Plan Development Mixed Use District PD-MU to Plan Development Mixed Use District PD-MU to amend the existing plan development on approximately 90.588 acres. It's out of the Stephen Riggs Survey, abstract number 1088, and the William M. Brown Survey, abstract number 63, located on both of the east and west sides of Summit Avenue North. It's north of the Kansas City Southern Railroad and Grandy's Lane, with frontage on the west side of Interstate 35 East, North Stemmons Freeway, and the east side of McGee Lane, requested by the City of Louisville, the applicant. This is case number 19-11-4PZ.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. So to give a little bit of background, this is basically a plan development mixed use to plan development mixed use. In 2015, when the original plan development was adopted, it was adopted as it was a form-based plan development. So it gave a lot of options. There was not a whole lot of certainty in what would develop within the plan development. It had different zones. Each zone had different uses that were allowed in different tables. It was almost like a mini zoning ordinance in and of itself. As the development has come in and we've been working with developers to lay out concept plans, we have 2 projects that are currently under construction. We have the townhomes, and the plat came before this commission, and those are under construction for 250 townhomes on the southern portion of the site. We also have the NRP multifamily that's under construction on the more towards I-35, between Summit and I-35. And we've worked with the developer that's looking to develop the multifamily sub-district 1, so they've provided their concept plan for that sub-district. And then we've also worked with the original developer, and they were able to provide us kind of how the commercial property might develop. So staff has taken all of those different concept plans that we've received over time, and we've combined them into this plan development that more fits our typical layout for a plan development. It's more predictable. We know kind of more what's going to happen. So this ordinance really does reflect the developments that we've had to date. And then we've tried to capture the standards within the original plan development as much as we could for the commercial district, and then also for the Townhome 2 sub-district. The Townhome 2 sub-district is the only sub-district we don't really have a concept plan for at this time. That's the existing gas well site. The purpose of giving it that townhome designation is to allow the neighborhood to potentially continue if and when that gas well is capped and closed off. We did write in a standard that the actual wellhead site would have to be incorporated into an open space area so that it couldn't be on any individual lot. But that one would develop in a similar manner to the Townhome 1 sub-district. So there's 5 sub-districts total: the Townhome 1 sub-district, the Townhome 2 sub-district, which is the gas well site, the multifamily 1 sub-district, the multifamily 2 sub-district, which is the NRP site that's under construction, and then the commercial sub-district. I'd like to point out some of the major differences between the original PD and this one are the residential density has been greatly reduced. So overall, the number of permitted multifamily units has been reduced from 1,625 units to 647 units. And the number of single-family townhomes remains at around 300. The Townhome 1 sub-district will have 250 units. The Townhome 2 sub-district could have, with the density limits, as many as 47, depending on how they do their layouts. And then the biggest difference is the format. This now follows our standard template, and we do have a more rigid and regulatory concept plan. So staff's here if you have any questions.
Commissioners?
I have a question about the gas well site. So what's the plan after the well gets capped, like just to, I guess, ensure that we're not gonna have problems down the road?
Yeah, so a lot of that's regulated by the Railroad Commission and also by the Fire Code.
Is it?
Yes, so there's actually quite a number of standards in the fire code, and our fire marshal would oversee the enforcement of that. There are regulatory requirements for how they cap it and how they mark it after it's capped. And then, like I've said, we've written into this a standard so that that doesn't end up on an individual lot and ends up in an HOA area, so it's a bit easier to find and get to in the future, should there ever be a need for it.
Okay. What about if there is, for when everybody starts running away from liability? Then what happens if there is a problem with it? I mean, years ago when we entertained gas wells before, there was a study done that half of them in Fort Worth were leaking. So we have a 50-50 chance that we're gonna have trouble with this one, right?
Right, so I've worked with a few different places where they've capped gas wells, and there are regulatory requirements for capping them. The monitoring after it's done, I'd have to check with our fire department on how that is looked at, but most of it is regulated by the Railroad Commission.
Right. All right.
Okay, anything else? All right, thank you. This time we'll open up the public hearing. Anyone that wishes to speak, please come forward, sign in, and state your name. All right, having no one come forward, the public hearing is now closed. Commissioners, comments? Okay, then may I have a motion on item 5A, zone change request for plan development, mixed use.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mary Ellen.
Second?
Seconded by William. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Okay. Item number 5B.
Sorry, just to let you know, this item is going to go to council on their March 16th meeting.
Okay, thank you. 5B is a public hearing, consideration of an amendment to the Louisville City Code, Chapter 17, zoning, specific Section 17-26 PD, Plan Development District, to remove the minimum size requirement for plan development districts.
Good evening again. So this is a fairly straightforward amendment to section 17-26. It's to strike the last line from subparagraph A. The minimum area for a planned development PD district shall be 5 acres. This is something that we discussed with the City Council at a joint work session regarding the code update. However, there's been an increased interest in redevelopment of some smaller sites. And while we've looked at other tools that we could use, like variances or alternative standards, if there's anything that's use-related, the only way to address that is through a plan development. That's the only tool that can give you any additional or takeaway uses. So staff's recommending going ahead and deleting that 5-acre minimum at this time in advance of that code overhaul. And I'm here for any questions.
Will there be a minimum at all, or no?
No, we're removing the minimum, so it could be any size. For you could have 0.001 acres.
Anyone else have questions? Okay, at this time I will entertain a motion on item 3B, public hearing, consideration of amendment to the Louisville City Code, Chapter 17. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Public hearing. So, we now open the public hearing. Anyone that wishes, thank you very much. Anyone that wishes to speak, please come forward, sign in, and state your name. Okay, we'll close the public hearing. Now, any comments on item B, public hearing for consideration of Louisville City Code, Chapter 17? Okay, now I would entertain a motion.
Motion to accept the change delete the 5-acre requirement.
Motion by William,
Second.
seconded by Alvin. All those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you, Commissioners. This item will appear before council on March 2nd for a second public hearing.
Thank you. And last, item 6, adjournment. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn?
Second.
Motion by Mary Ellen, seconded by Karen. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.